to so much more. Second four, please. I can be a director. Go, camera 3. It's time for workout. Oh, I always take time before the show to have fun. Throw the 4. And I always love to shoot before the show. Opa. Fish.
Well, you know that was done in one take, right, Boban?
One take.
We're so glad that you're back on the show, especially because we're going to start with one of your former teammates, the Lakers at the Suns last night. Luka Doncic made his preseason debut. It's the first time we've seen him play since FIBA Eurobasket here, Perk. Let's pick this one up early in the first.
Oh!
Luka, that's how he started, right? He had a series of spin moves in the lane here. Come on, Malawach did not ask for this.
He did. Look at the footwork. And what was that called right there, Wendy? The slippery
eel.
Yep, look. Yes, it was.
Despite what these highlights say, come on, actually, I feel like we need to say this. He did have a good game. All right, so Luka Doncic, he can't get the free throw here, but don't worry, as it's falling out of bounds, somehow he makes this pass, Wendy.
Hey, listen, he's been getting ready. New body, new passes.
Nick Smith Jr. hits the 3. About a minute later here, Perk, Doncic dribbles it up, and he hits the wing 3.
Easy work, easy work. Got him leaning, then just pulled up. Look at the
little
spot.
Lean with it, rock with it later in the second. Luka dribbles up, deep step back, all smiles from Luka here. 12 of his 25 points, and this one came from beyond the arc, going 4 of 8 from 3. So the question, Perk, you had going into this one was what? How was DeAndre Ayton going to look? Well, this is him with Doncic here in the first.
And I love it.
And then take a look at this here. Clearing the lane, rolling to the basket. Here's Ayton on that connection with Luka Doncic.
He's different. He's doing it, drawing a foul at the same time, and throwing a late lob. And you know, it's just I have to be patient and just really reading his eyes.
And you said you love it, Perk.
I do. And look, DeAndre Ayton did an excellent job all night long of setting good screens like that when creating a mismatch. Luka draining the 3. He could make a living. And look, another great screen for Austin Reeves right there by DeAndre Ayton. You talk about sacrificing. Austin Reeves get his feet set. Yak him.
Reeves finished with 25 in this one. I don't know where to count Yakum among that. Ayton finished with 10 points, 13 rebounds. As for Luka, he didn't miss a beat, right, in his preseason debut. 25 points, efficient night from the floor. The Lakers need that with LeBron out to start the year. Here he was after his debut game.
I feel great. I felt great. I was probably better than I expected. Those first games are kind of rusty, but I was just very happy to be out there again. We've been having a good preseason. The chemistry is great, and for us to be great, we need to have a great chemistry.
I'm real comfortable. I haven't really played with all the guys fully yet, but I love the way it's going. I love the progress, and I just love the commitment everybody's really pulling in from training camp to now.
A lot of interesting stuff on the floor and a lot of interesting things said after this game. Malika Andrews here with Brian Windhurst, Kendrick Perkins, and of course, Boban is here with us as well, joining us in our Los Angeles studio. We've heard all summer about trimmed down Luka Doncic, Brian. Now we finally get to see him. What stood out to you?
He looked in tremendous rhythm in this game for a guy who hadn't played in all in the preseason. We saw the results of not only his hard work in the offseason, but all the time he put in playing with the Slovenian national team. He came in great rhythm. I liked how especially he got to the free throw line. I do think it's incumbent on me to point out that the Suns were just back from China and they basically sat almost all their rotation.
Yes.
But, okay, it doesn't, it was a real competition game. He looked good. Also, Austin Reeves was terrific in this game. Austin Reeves has had a great preseason, and between the two of them, they got to the free throw line 17 times. And without LeBron, you're going to need to have some more efficiency. And I think with Austin Reeves and Luka's usage going up without LeBron, you're going to see them hunting a lot of free throws. That's one of their specialties.
Well, I love it because we got an opportunity to see the miniature 3. Luka, Austin Reeves, and DeAndre Ayton.
Instead of a big 3?
Because here's the thing, right? The future, right, is going to be determined on how well those guys have chemistry and how well they could play together. Austin Reeves, in my opinion, outside of DeAndre Ayton and what he brings in the interior, Austin Reeves is going to be that guy to get them over the hump. if you look at Luka and the success he had over the course of his career making deep playoff runs, he's always had that second primary ball handler that could create for himself and the others. And I'm looking at Austin Reeves to be somewhat of that Kyrie Irving or even that Jalen Brunson, because let's be real, we don't know how many games LeBron James is going to play this regular season, right? He's already started the season off
that's what's
injured.
concerning.
So I'm looking at Austin Reeves to take that leap up from being that third option guy to being that second option guy.
Well, and then there's DeAndre Ayton, right? We've been waiting to see how that connection is going to look with Luka Doncic. And that little lob we showed you, it was the only one of the game. That's promising. Boban, you've actually been, though, in Ayton's shoes. You have been that partner for Luka Doncic. What did you learn last night?
Yes, I've been that. You know, like, look alike when somebody sets a screen for him. And this is good because he can basically attack everybody from 1 to 5. And I know sometimes figure out how playing with him, like I figured out he don't even need the screen. He just like can attack everybody, just a little bit. When he get tired, he won't like that better screen, and it's easy to play with him. He'll find you every time. You see how he basically like looking for everything. I don't know how he do that, but this is like so easy for him, and for me, only need to score and make a layup.
It feels like this is what the start of the season is going to be. Luka's going to create a lot of open looks. DeAndre Ayton is going to have to get used to having that sort of space, Brian. Luka's going to get his. Other guys are going to get open looks. Those other guys need to make the shots. Yeah,
and I was impressed with DeAndre Ayton defensively last night. You can really see he knows that his job is to come in and rebound and make defensive plays. He had 13 rebounds in this game. He had, I think, 3 blocks and 2 steals, or 3 steals and 2 blocks, 5 stocks. He is really focused on being a defensive playmaker. I know that we're going to default to paying attention to the offensive end. I think the Lakers are going to score. I think they're going to get enough points. The question for me is, can they defend? That was one of the reasons they went out and got DeAndre Ayton. They needed better interior defense. He's not a great defender in his career, but he can make a difference, and you can see he's trying.
The Lakers are in action against Luka's former squad tonight, although we do not expect to see Luka Doncic in this second night of a preseason back-to-back. I do want to stick in the West because we had some breaking news earlier today in the NBA as we bring in our senior insider shop, Zion's. But it's been full steam ahead for Steph Curry this preseason. The Golden State Warriors facing the Portland Trail Blazers. Perk, let's pick this one up early in the first quarter. Curry gets to his spot on the wing.
He's been getting to his spot all preseason. I'm telling you, he got it on his mind. He got it on his mind, Malika. Look, Steve Kerr's probably telling me only playing a few minutes, and he's going out there and been maximized.
What we're not going to do is look at the fact that the Warriors were down 22, and then look out. Kuminga throwing it down. Nice setup from Curry there, and then a finish from Kuminga. And then early in the third, the Warriors down 8. Curry gives it up to Al Horford. Curry gets it right back, splashes the 3. The Warriors cut into the lead. Later in the third quarter, the Warriors up now. Curry dribbles behind the back into the paint. How does he do it? Sorry, Chris Murray, that was not kind. That was not kind. The Warriors up now, and then a minute later, all tied up at 79. Quentin Post passes it through the legs.
And set a screen.
Curry. A game-high 28 points for Curry. The Warriors win 118-111 in this one. And Steph, he looks to be in mid-season form already, and I think that spells trouble for the league. We know it's just the preseason, but he's put up 28 points on just 15 shot attempts. And what really stood out was his ability to get to the line. He took 13 free throws. That is something, Brian Windhorst, that he did once all of last season. And yes, there's been this conversation over the summer about Jonathan Kuminga and the holdout, and the Warriors haven't had a lot of run together. But this team, we know Kevin Pelton projected them to have an incredibly good record in the Western Conference, and I'm starting to believe it here.
Well, let's remember how they finished last season. They finished it very strong, and the Jimmy Butler addition gives the Warriors something that they've been searching for a very long time, which is a viable offensive leader when Steph comes out of the game. And so if you can give Steph fewer minutes, when he's out on the court, he can be more aggressive. You saw in that game, we had all those highlights of him going to the basket. Obviously, we know the man can shoot from the outside. He goes to the basket, he gets to the foul line, he expends more energy, he can do it in fewer minutes. The Warriors have this thought process. Everybody's got to stay healthy.
Yep.
But they have this thought out.
And Jimmy Butler, I mean, it's not isolation under Steve Kerr is not something that happens. He runs a lot of it. He takes a lot of attention. That frees up Steph Curry. If the Warriors can click on all cylinders, health is the biggest piece of it. They feel very confident about this season. What do you say, guys? Let's go coast to coast, run through a little bit more preseason action around the association.
All right, Warriors Nation, buckle up, because this is one of those stories that could change everything. Imagine it. Giannis Antetokounmpo in a Warriors uniform. The Greek freak, the most dominant forward in basketball, standing side by side with Stephen Curry and Chase Center. The idea sounds wild, maybe even impossible, but according to the Sporting News and Matt Moore of Fansided, the Golden State Warriors could actually make that call and pull off a trade that would shake the entire NBA landscape to its core. Let's talk about it. The Golden State Warriors are at a crossroads, again. A dynasty built on brilliance, now balancing on the edge between history and reinvention. They've added Al Horford, leaned on Steph's leadership, and kept a core that knows how to win. But time doesn't wait, and with the Western Conference getting younger, faster, and hungrier, the question is, can this team make one last epic run? That's where Giannis comes in. Matt Moore proposed a trade that would send Draymond Green, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield, and 2 first-round picks to the Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for Giannis Antetokounmpo, a move that would not just extend the Warriors' title window, but completely rewrite their future. Think about what that means. You're pairing the greatest shooter of all time with the most physically dominant forward of this generation. Steph and Giannis, gravity and force, elegance and power. It's basketball alchemy, the perfect storm of skill and dominance. Yes, it would cost the Warriors depth. Losing Draymond, Moody, and Podziemski would sting, no question. Draymond has been the emotional heartbeat of this dynasty. Moody and Podziemski are the promising future pieces fans have grown to love. But sometimes, when you chase greatness, you have to pay a price that ordinary teams can't stomach. And that's the thing. The Warriors aren't ordinary. They're the franchise that changed basketball forever. They're the team that turned shooting into an art form and redefined spacing before the rest of the league even understood it. And right now, if they truly want to maximize what's left of the Steph Curry era, adding Giannis isn't just a bold move. It's a statement that Golden State is still chasing banners, not memories. Now, let's get into the logic behind the trade. Golden State has quietly built flexibility into their roster. Al Horford and Quentin Post give them front-court shooting that allows Giannis to thrive without clogging the lane. Jimmy Butler, the newly added veteran, brings toughness and championship DNA that perfectly complements Giannis's intensity. In Milwaukee, things aren't as stable. The Bucks are searching for rhythm, struggling to recapture that 2021 magic. Their supporting cast feels older, slower, and less connected. A package with young players like Moody and Podziemski, plus draft picks, gives them a way to hit reset, a way to start over without falling off completely. From both sides, it actually makes sense. The Bucks secure their future, the Warriors extend their legacy, and the NBA? It gets the biggest headline since Durant's decision in 2016. Let's be honest, this is more than a hypothetical. It's a glimpse of what's possible if Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy Jr. decide that good isn't enough, that competitive isn't the same as championship caliber. And you know what? They've done it before. Nobody believed Kevin Durant would ever join a 73-win team, until he did. Nobody thought the Golden State would rebuild while still contending, until they drafted and developed their way back into the spotlight. This franchise is fearless, calculated, ruthless when it has to be. And if the opportunity comes to land Giannis, the ultimate two-way monster, the MVP who never stops attacking, the Warriors could be crazy enough to do it again. Imagine Chase Center on opening night after that trade, Steph Curry walking out to the roar of the crowd, then Giannis, 6'11", muscle and motion, grinning with that competitive fire. Following behind him, the crowd loses it. The Bay erupts. Every possession becomes a show. Giannis bulldozes into the lane. Steph hits from 30 feet. Defenders panic. The NBA changes again. Now let's be real. This move would mean saying goodbye to one of the most beloved players in team history, Draymond Green. His impact on the Warriors can't be measured by stats alone. He's been the voice, the heartbeat, the defiant soul of this dynasty. But if the front office truly believes in finishing the Curry era with a bang instead of a fade, this might be the sacrifice that turns nostalgia into history one more time. Because in sports, legacies aren't protected by sentiment. They're built by risk. And make no mistake, Giannis Antetokounmpo in blue and gold would make the Golden State Warriors terrifying again. Warriors Nation, I want to hear from you. Would you trade Draymond and the young core to bring Giannis to Golden State? Would you go all in for one last dance with Steph, this time alongside the Greek Freak? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you'd make the move, and don't forget to subscribe to Warriors Nation News. Because if this trade ever happens, You'll want to say you were here when the story broke. This is Warriors Nation News, where the dynasty never dies, it just reloads.